and material goods drive significant carbon footprints. We have awareness and education. Gaps in climate knowledge limit behavioral change. Many individuals lack the understanding of how daily choices affect emissions, highlighting the critical need for climate education and at all levels. That is why I gladly applaud this boot camp for putting out this to be able to educate youth on how to go about combating climate change. We equally have policy and culture. Infrastructure availability shapes options for sustainable choices. Cultural norms and social expectations also influence consumption behaviors, requiring systemic and community level interventions. Now we're going to look at this interactive activity, how we can actually go about combating or adapting or mitigating climate change. Now, this activity will help us understand our personal carbon footprints and identify practical areas for reduction. By calculating our emissions from daily activities, we'll be able to gain insights into how our daily choices impact climate change and discover opportunities for meaningful behavioral changes. Now, when we go back, because I know the time is limited for us to actually carry out this activity, but in our various homes, to actually implement this, we can start by what gathering data, electricity bills, transport habits, food consumption patterns, and waste disposal methods. Now we're going to use a worksheet to input values for each category. And we'll be able to calculate using the conversion factor given. We'll compare. I don't know, the time for this session is really limited. It would have been great for us to actually be able to carry out this activity together. Nonetheless, I think in our respective homes we'll be able to, or activities will be able to try this out. Now, to be able to calculate our carbon footprints, what do we do? You need to consider the following areas. Travel, you ask yourself, how do you commute? How often do you fly? Now we'll go to electricity. What appliances do you use? Do you use appliances that can actually help reduce greenhouse gas emissions? And how much energy do you consume? Now we'll go to the food. Do you eat meat? The meat I was talking a while ago. Now, do you eat locally or imported foods? Now we'll go to waste. How much waste do you recycle? Single-use plastics, because we know plastic is a major problem affecting climate change. So we'll move on from there to the next. So that's an activity that we'll do out of this session, because right here, we won't be able to actually implement that. By the time you sit down and you take all of this into consideration, you realize that both of us, each of us, have a part we play in contributing to climate change. And from there, we're going to be able to come up with or implement the various means in which you can actually reduce carbon dioxide emissions or greenhouse gases emissions. So this is still part of the activity I thought we could hold together. However, we're going to move straight. After you must have done all of the calculation, establish the kind of activities you do that contribute to climate change. Now, what are the practical strategies you can implement to actually reduce carbon dioxide or greenhouse gas emission? The first thing we'll do is we'll talk of energy efficiency. Now we should switch to LED bulbs and energy efficient appliances. Turn off lights and unplug devices when not in use. Yeah, I must admit that I'm working towards that, because it's a common habit where we just turn off our lights, or when we charge our phones, we just leave it connected to when our phones runs down for us to come and charge again. So we should always have that in mind, to turn off our lights and unplug our devices when not in use. Now we should consider solar power options for homes and businesses. Now, this next point is sustainable transport. We should choose walking, recycling, or carpooling over private vehicles, because we know the gas emitted from cars is a great contributor to climate change. Now, use public transport when available. Support infrastructure for cleaner mobility options. I think that's why there is more of this talk about electric cars, where it's going to really reduce the amount of greenhouse gas emission. Another aspect or strategy to reduce climate change and to achieve the sustainable development goals is waste and advocacy. We should reduce, reuse, and recycle waste materials, particularly our plastic bottles. We should support local food systems and renewable energy. We should engage in policy advocacy and community climate initiatives. Now, we're going to look at how we can actually continue to achieve Nigeria's sustainable national development contribution. Now, every individual action counts towards national climate targets. When communities adopt sustainable practices, reducing energy consumption, choosing public transport, minimizing waste, these collective efforts directly support Nigeria's national determined contributions under the Paris Agreement. We shouldn't always wait to say, no, the government has not done this, the government has not done that. But at our individual level, what do we do? How do we contribute to achieving these national development contributions? Now, youth leadership. Most of Nigeria's population is made up of the youth. Now, what is the role of youth in all of this? Young Nigerians are at the forefront of climate action through advocacy, community organizing, and sustainable lifestyles. Youth can drive the behavioral change needed to meet the National Development Contribution 3.0 targets. Our voices matters. Engaging in local activities, influence policy discussions, and inspire others to join the movement for a sustainable Nigeria. So I think I've been able to run down on climate change, the sustainable development goals, and carbon footprints, and some practical steps on how we at our individual level can evaluate how we contribute to climate change. So here I'm just going to give a summary of everything I've spoken about. Climate change and sustainable development goals. Climate change intersects with all the sustainable development goals. Achieving the Sustainable Development Goal 13, which targets directly climate action, creates positive ripple effects across health, poverty reduction, clean water, and sustainable cities. Carbon footprint awareness. Understanding your carbon footprint is the first step to reducing it. Every action matters, from energy use to transportation choices to consumption patterns. Lastly, the net zero and the national development contribution. Climate literacy drives behavioral change towards net zero. Nigeria's net development contribution 3.0 provides a clear roadmap for national action, and youth leadership is essential for implementation. So the next step of action, or how we can go about it. The first thing is to track and reduce our carbon footprint. This is very important. We shouldn't always wait for the government, or we shouldn't always complain. No, at our level, what are we doing? We should start by monitoring our daily carbon footprints, using tracking apps or journals, or simply doing what I said, like when you are at home, when the light, you're not having use for the light, switch it off, and your chargers or whatever, when not in use, endeavor to disconnect it. Now, set personal reduction goals for energy use, transport, and waste. We should prioritize walking. I know with climate change, the sun is always overhead, so we're looking for a means to shed that bread. When we have the opportunity, let's always walk. And small consistent changes in our routine can lead to significant environmental impacts over time. Another important thing is to share knowledge and advocacy. Now, spread climate awareness in our community and schools from your homes. After this session, you could share your idea with your family, your friends. You could join local youth climate groups like this one and environmental initiatives. We should always advocate for stronger climate policies and support Nigeria's NDC implementation through active civic engagement. So thank you very much for the session, and it has been great. I hope we've been able to pick one or two things from this presentation. So thank you very much. But if there are any questions, I'll be willing and glad to answer them. Thank you.
Thank you, Mbah, for the powerful presentation. But during your presentation, you made mention of some interactive activity which you would like us to engage in if time permits you. And I would like to notify you that you still have like 15 more minutes, but not long. Can we stay go for the interactive activity before we move to question and answer. Thank you, if you don't mind.
Okay, let's move back to it. Okay, but yeah, I would like for us to do that, but I feel we didn't come prepared for it because we'll have to go through our electricity bills, transport habits, and every other thing. I don't think we came with all of that prepared. So what I would rather suggest is all the points I raised on looking at how we contribute to climate change. Maybe from there we can actually be able to calculate our carbon footprint. Let me see. So from here, I think this is what is important for all of us to retain, how we can actually calculate our carbon footprint. Now, travel, how do you commute? I think this is all what we should retain at the end of the day. I would have loved for us to do that other activity, but I think going back with this is more important because I think all of us can actually resonate with this other than actually using calculators to do whatever thing. Now, we should ask ourselves, how do we commute? I know most of us, we always love to take cars. We always love, by doing that, we contribute to carbon emission. We should prioritize walking or cycling. And now the electricity, what appliances do we use? How much energy do we consume? The food, how much meat do we consume? The waste, how do we recycle our waste? About the plastic bottles, we have means we're supposed to be able to recycle our bottles. There's so many things I've seen online. People use plastic bottles to do it. So I think we too can implement that. By so doing, we'll be able to capture our carbon footprint and be able to mitigate climate change. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Mbah. So for now, we'll be moving to the question and answer session.
Okay.
If you have any question for our facilitator, please, I'd like you to raise up your hand or you drop your question in the chat box, which I will read it out so that she can answer. All right. I can see from the chat here from Ibo. Sorry if I can, I'm sorry, pardon me if I can't pronounce your name the right way. I'm interested in understanding more about the NDC 3.0. I just recently even saw a call of just submit and I'm interested, so I really want to get a deeper knowledge on NDC 3.0. Please, Mbah, can you help us to take that question? Should I come over again? Did you
Please come
get
over
it?
again.
Okay. He said he's interested in understanding more about the NDC 3.0. Maybe you can just give us a brief overview of what NDC 3.0 is before we move to the next question. Thank you.
Oh, okay. The National Development Goals are goals adopted by various countries primarily to be able to reduce their carbon dioxide emission. So that is principally what the National Development Goal is all about. Each country has actually accepted and set a deadline wherein they are going to be able to reduce carbon dioxide or greenhouse gas emission to combat climate change. It could be either through going in more for renewable energy or going in more for reforestation or whatever means you can use to actually be able to reduce climate change. So that is principally the basic definition of the national development contribution. Thank you. And the aim is to reduce carbon dioxide emission by 1.5% because there's a research going on that if you don't do that, the climate might increase, the climate change might increase, and we're already facing a lot of heat nowadays. Just imagine if the temperatures have to go higher than that. So basically, national development contribution is the measures taken or the how will I put it? The word is skipping my mind. The objectives taken by each nation to be able to combat climate change. The word I wanted to use actually skipping my mind. But I hope I've been able to explain to you what the national development contributions are all about. Because even here in Cameroon, as a Cameroonian, we locally have the national development contribution. So each country actually undertook that, signed a convention that no, by 2030, by 2050, we'll be able to reduce climate change, and we'll be able, by so doing, contributing to reducing global temperatures to negative 1.5 degrees Celsius. Thank you.
Mbah. Bernard, you can go on for your question. You can mute your mic and ask your question.
Okay,
Bernard,
thank you
can you
so
hear me?
much for, yes, I can hear you. Okay, thanks so much for your wonderful presentation. However, I was wondering if you have some prepared data for calculating carbon footprint, maybe from your own side, you have some data in your travels, electricity or something like that, that you can actually practically demonstrate or show us so that even on our own, we can gather our data and then check our own carbon footprint. Do you have that? I'm just wondering. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Actually, I'm really sorry, but I didn't prepare for that. However, I'm going to send in maybe say a track sheet to the organizers of this event. I don't know, from there they could be able to share it to each one of us, each one of you, so you could use it to track your carbon footprint.
Okay, thank you.
Jacob, can you unmute and ask your question?
Okay, thank you so much for the wonderful presentation, the host for doing a good job. My question is regarding the carbon footprint, which I got an enlightenment on. Can you explain how consumption of meat contribute to climate change?
Okay, thank you so much for that question. Well, we all know that the consumption of meat has some sort of, I'm not really a biologist or a chemist or a scientific person to actually explain that, but I know meat has some some how will I put it, some chemicals, yes, some chemicals. So when it is actually consumed or when it is being boiled, it actually contributes to climate change. That is the gas that is emitted from the meat actually. And another aspect I'll look at it is from um um mm, mm, animal what do you call, when we kill animals, yes, by killing the animals, we know animals have a role they play. That's why there's another aspect that they call biodiversity. Animal make up part of that. So by constantly killing the animals, it contributes to climate change because there's a role that animals have to play to actually be able to be to mitigate climate change.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome.
All right, Evangeline, please, you can unmute and talk. Can you hear me?
All right. Yes, I can hear you. Thank you so much for that session, Dosia. So I wanted to mention that if you check the chat box, there is a link that shows you how to measure your carbon footprint, some of the session resources that was shared. So right now, if you maybe after we all ask all the questions we want to ask, we can take that practical session shortly before we end the this particular session. Do we understand? So let's keep asking our questions. Then would walk you through how to calculate your footprint and also get the sheet from Dosia at the end of the session and share with everyone so you can also make use of it. But we can keep asking our questions, and at the end of the session, we will all, everybody individually will calculate their carbon footprint. That's an exciting part of this session. All right. So the last thing I wanted to mention is, so this session, those asking about the NDC 3.0, there is a session for that, and the person coming is a policy expert that will take you on that. So Mbah Dosia is basically going to walk you through how the sustainable development goals connect to climate change and how how climate change impacts the implementation of the 17 Sustainable Development Goals, which also includes your emission and how you can also reduce it as well. So questions on technology would be answered on the fourth session, by the fourth session. So there is somebody who is going to come and explain further and better to you on technology and carbon footprint, the carbon market as well. There's a session for that. So you can keep your question for that session so that the experts that will take you on that can better provide answers to that. So yeah, over from me. Then once you're done with all your questions, would walk you through how to calculate your carbon footprint with the session resource that was shared in the chat. Thank you. Over.
All right, Evangeline, thank you for that. So moving to Samuel Prince's question. He asks that, do we agree that the whole of carbon emissions in Africa cannot be compared to the carbon emission of, only US, Russia, and China? Please, Mbah, I don't know if you get that question, or should I recap?
Please take it all over again.
Okay, he said, do we all agree that the whole of carbon emissions in Africa cannot be compared to the carbon emissions of only Russia, US, China? That was
All right.
what it was said.
Okay, yeah, I totally understand his question. Yes, what he said is actually very correct because Africa contributes less than 4% of the global carbon emission, or contributes less than 4% to climate change. That is very correct. And that is where there's a lot of debate around this topic because people feel Africans shouldn't be a part of all of this climate change move because for a fact we don't contribute, or we haven't contributed much to all of this. But now the problem is Africa hasn't contributed, yes, but how are we affected by climate change? Africa is the most affected by climate change. Floods, droughts. We all observe when there is floods, we see how most farmers, because here back in Cameroon, in the northern part, there was floods that affected a wide hectare of land of rice. And you see that, imagine that that person had collected a loan from the bank. You can imagine the ripple effect of all of that. So for a fact, it's true. Africans haven't contributed to climate change. But what we are fighting for is to be able to adapt and mitigate because we are all feeling the effects of climate change. So yes, the point he raised is very correct.
All right. Thank you, Mbah, for that answer. So do you guys still have any question regarding what we were taught this afternoon for the second session? Before we move to the calculation of carbon footprint. Any question? Please, can you mute your mic? Please, I want every one of us to mute our mic, please, Abubakar. Or do you want to say something? Any question? So, Mbah, there is a question I would like to ask you. Can you hear me?
Yes, please, I can get you.
Yeah, please. What is one simple habit you have changed to reduce your personal carbon footprint? Do you get me?
Yes, I got the question. Thank you so much for the question. One practical way is by reusing plastic bottles. Yes, reusing plastic bottles, because aside from my my professional career, I equally do fruit juice. And one way I do that is not by sourcing more bottles, but the bottles are already available. There is a way I take them and actually rebrand it so that we actually be able to reduce the amount of plastic bottles into the atmosphere. And also, one other practical method is I'm actually trying to prioritize walking. Yes, walking over taking public transport or vehicles, like prioritizing more of walking. So those are the two methods I actually advocate, or I'm actually implementing, to be able to to reduce my carbon footprint.
All right, thank you, Mbah. Please, I'm trying to open the Google Disney for the carbon footprint calculation so that we can all see from my end, and Evangeline will take us through it. Please give me a few minutes. All right, let me share my screen now. I'm trying to share, I'm coming. Evangeline, please now take over. Can you all see my screen?
All right. Can you kindly use the last link shared on the in the chat box? So carbon footprint is not hard, right? And just like our facilitator has mentioned, you need to know what are the things you're consuming. For instance, somebody asked about food the other time. You use, for instance, when you want to cook your food, you use your gas. Or in some local areas, some people still use firewood or charcoal, and these things produce emissions. So the food you consume, how much do you use? So the way I'm going to do it is, it's going to be a take-home assignment for us, but I will show you how to do it. And your report should be shared on the WhatsApp group before our next session next week. So I'll just walk us through how to go about it. You can use either of the links that was shared in the chat box. So the first thing you need to know is um, your food consumption, as little as your laptop. Now, how does your laptop contribute to emission? When you use your laptop, how much heat is being generated from it? That's some form of emission as well. So you are contributing to, even when you use your laptop. So it's not just based on you using your vehicles and your vehicle is moving around, you understand? So it's also from little things as you're cooking your food, just like our facilitator has told us. Please, I would like us to give a big hand to our facilitator for that wonderful session. She just walked us through. You know, she made us see how that all these things impact climate change. I mean, all these things impact the 17 Sustainable Development Goals. You can't disconnect climate change from the SDGs, just like Dosia has rightly mentioned. It impacts from health, from economic, just like the first session we had, we saw the impact of it on the ecosystem, on livelihood, production, food production. And I saw one funny chat that somebody said that no wonder the corn these days are growing seedless. That's funny, but to an extent, it's happening. You see corn that are very expensive, but they are seedless in that person's word. So you understand. So these are some of the effects it has. And but the essence of this session is for you to be able to understand how can I personally, individually contribute or rather, reduce my own carbon footprint? How can I reduce my own impact on the drivers of climate change in Nigeria, basically? So, and our facilitator has taken us to a very wonderful session on that. So, if you go through the session results that was shared in your onboarding guide, you will see all these things. So, to calculate your carbon footprint is not hard. Just like our facilitator has said, she would send the sheets to us. But what I will be doing is to show us how to go about it, so that when she sends the sheet, you'll be submitting it to us. You understand? And so we'll see how much you are contributing as an individual every month and every year to the global climate crisis that is happening around the world and also in Nigeria specifically. So if you're able to share the screen now, Yetunde, let me just show them how to go about that before we wrap up the session. Can you please, is Yetunde still on the call? Can you please mute your mic? Is Yetunde still on the call, please? All right, if she's not, let me try to project my screen and share with us. The challenge here is, okay. All right, okay, Yetunde is back. Yetunde, please kindly share your screen so I can walk everyone through this. Okay. All right. While we are waiting, can everybody go to that link that was shared in the chat box? The link that was shared. Kindly use the last one I just shared in the chat box now. Everybody kindly open that link on your phones, on your laptops, while we get the screen to be shared. Okay, my PC, all right, okay, no problem. Let me share from my hand. I don't know how convenient that is going to be, but all right. So, please confirm once you can see my screen. Okay, can you all see my screen? Can you all see? Can you all see my screen, please?
Yes, we can see your screen, madam. We can see your screen, madam.
We can see it.
All right, okay. Kindly just use the emoji. All right, so go to country, put in your country, like so, put in your country. Oops. Oops, oops. I think my network is delaying this. But if you open that link, as you can see on the screen, open the country. Okay, yeah. Fill in your country, which country you're from. You can see Nigeria in the list. Then, so carbon footprint calculations are typically based on annual emissions from the previous 12 months. So what year to what year do you want to calculate? Do you want to calculate January 2024, or rather 2025 to December 2025? Or you want to do May 2025 to May 2024? Which one should we go with, please? You can drop in the chat box. which one do you suggest to go with? I'm not sure I can see your chart because of this. But let's do May 2024. So go to your calendar, right? May 2025. Select May 2025 rather on your calendar. Press OK. May 2025. Start from May 1st, 2025. Okay. Let's say May 1st, 2025 to May 1st, 2026. Sorry. May 1st. May 1st, 2026. All right. So what you will do next is to visit each of the tabs to calculate your full carbon footprint. And what you will do is, after your calculation, you will share with us how can you reduce or neutralize your emission through a climate-friendly project, whether it is green planting, tree planting rather, or you reduce, just like what our facilitator said, instead of putting on your light during the day, you can put it off for natural brightness and natural light. Instead of, for instance, you're going to a location and the distance is just like 1 minute walk or 2 or 5 minutes walk. Instead of deciding to take public transport or going with your car, you can choose to go trekking. So you click on save. Once you click on your date, click on save. So once you click on save, then we move to your house. So as you can see, there's house, there's flight, there's car, there's motorbike, there's bus and rail, and then we have the secondary part of it. So these are the primary ways you emit carbon. These are the primary ways you emit carbon, basically. So you have your house, your flight, your car, and your motorbike. The secondary aspect of emission is that one I mentioned on. For instance, even your power bank, your laptop, your phones. When you use your phone, screen time, you spend maybe 24 hours on the screen, and your laptop is so hot, you are charging all through. Your laptop is full, instead of you to remove your charger, you're contributing to emissions that way. They are secondary drivers of carbon emission. So we'll calculate that. So click on house. So then so I won't be doing this for you. You see why our facilitator said it's going to take a lot of time, because this can take up to an hour when we start calculating. So it's going to be your take home. It's supposed to be an interactive activity and also your take home. And you'll be downloading your results and screenshotting it and sending it to us. Do you understand? You do this and share it on the WhatsApp group. Please, I hope you are all following. So you put in your electricity. What kilowatts do you use? Your natural gas. If you don't use natural gas, you're eating oil, you want to fry plantain, you want to fry akara, you want to fry chips. How much do you fry? How much, these are some of the things that create emission. Palm oil, those of you who like using palm oil, you want to make your vegetable soup, like those who shared some weird food combination in the morning, those kind of food combination. How much emission are you contributing to when you're cooking? For instance, you want to cook and you know that you're going to have to use natural gas and it's going to last you for 5 hours to cook that food. Do you know you are contributing to emission? So these are simple ways that we contribute to these things without necessarily, because most times we like shouting that, oh, it's vehicles, it's not restricted to just your vehicles, it's restricted to all these things. So it's going to take a lot of time, just like our facilitator has said. So, but just to save time, I'll tell you how to go about it. So now you put in all these details. How many do you calculate? So how many people do you have in your household too? For instance, we are living with your parents. Maybe you have 5 people in your household. This place that has how many people are in your household, you select how many persons are in your household and put it. Those of you that are living with your extended family members and you're like 20, you can imagine how much emission you'll be producing every year or even every day and every month. So you put in the number like so. All right. So how many persons in your household? If it's 1, you put 1. If you're living alone, living solo, you can put 1. If you're 2, you can put 2. Then you go to electricity. For the 2 of you, how much kilowatts are you emitting? And you have the, what's it called, calculation here. The natural gas, kilowatts, you put it. If you're calculating in terms, you can put it, but preferably I would advise that you use your kilowatt. Then metric tons of coal, if you're using coal. If you're not using coal, you can ignore it. If you're using LPG as well, you can put how many liters do you use in your house. If you're using propane, put it. But if you're not using any of these, you can ignore them. Wooden pellets, how many metric tons are you using in? Are you using? Yeah, so you do that. So once you are done, you click on calculate household footprint. It will show here. Next, we'll move to flight. Please, I hope you can still see my screen. Please, if you're following, I want to know.
Yes.
Yes, you can see the
All right, okay. So please, somebody is asking for the link. Can you help reshare that link? The last link I shared in the chat box. All right. So then if you're someone that uses flight, how many flights did you take between May last year and May this year? Put it from, you can put the airport or the country, for instance. Okay. If it's one-way flight, you can put it. So you can put it, excuse me. All right. So, okay, my screen is behaving funny. All right. So then, is it economy class? Is it business class? Is it first class? You put it. Then you calculate your carbon footprint. Next, you move to your car. Now, whether you have a car or not, this applies to you. If you use a bike, okay, there's a section for motorbike. If you use keke napep, in Nigeria, there's keke napep. You can use your car or bus. Those who are in Lagos, if you use that or what's the name of that, shuttle buses, you can put it. If you use Korokwe, you can put it. If you use Uber, you can put it. So how many miles do you travel per kilometer? You put it there. What kind of vehicles do you use? Is it USA car base or average van, motorbike or car database? Yes, normal car. Then what was the year of manufacturing? You put it. So you calculate all of this. This is for your house now. Then you move to motorbike. For those of you who use bike or who ride bike, how many kilometers per mileage do you take? You put it. Then you press on your calculate and add to footprint. So when you calculate, it's already compiling the figures. Then you move to bus and rail. For those of you who use public transport or even train, you can put it. Bus, how many kilometers do you travel? So the way you calculate it is per day. How many kilometers do I normally travel per day? Then multiply it by 12 because we are calculating for 1 year. So all these things you'll be calculating per day, multiplying by 12 because it's for 1 year. Then if you use taxi, you put it. How many kilometers do you travel per day at least, or maybe per week or a month? Okay, no, let's do per month. How many kilometers do you travel per month and multiply it by 12? Then you calculate the bus and rail footprint and add to it. Now we are moving to the secondary emission part. The secondary emission part, this is very interesting. Now, how much, this part, you put how much you used to spend on your food per year. So the way you calculate per year is how much do you use to budget for food in a month? Put the amount and multiply it by 12. So that amount will be here. So let's say, for instance, meanwhile, you'll have put how much you also earn per year, right? Choose your currency. If your currency, Naira is not here, so you would have to calculate this in USD. So convert how much is Naira conversion as at today? Look for it. Multiply it by how much after you've done your conversion. So let's say, for instance, you're a salary earner, for instance, and you earn, say, 1 million Naira. Just that's an exaggeration. Or maybe let's use the basic 70,000 Naira per month for the minimum wage. On an average, you earn 70 to 100,000 Naira per month on an average. So how much do you budget for your food? You put the amount there. This has to be realistic, or don't fake your figures. If not, you won't get the correct footprint you are emitting. Your carbon footprint for your house. Now, how much do you spend on food and drink products for a medium meat eater? Put it, convert it to dollars and put it. So you calculate how much you spend on food per month, multiply it by 12. and put it per year. Then you convert it to, okay, there's even a section for per month. But I think because we are calculating per year, it's best we leave it per year. So multiply it by 12 and put it here. If you want to do per week, you can, but because remember that we started with per year, so you have to do per year. If you want to do per month, you can change the settings from the calendar and just do May, let's say April 2026 to April 1st, 2026 to April 30th, 2026. Then you put it here. So here it would be showing per month, not per year. Please, I hope you are all understanding all the explanation I'm giving so far. Then you go to your pharmaceuticals. How much do you spend on drugs? Because in the production of the drugs, there are machineries or equipment that go into the production of these drugs as well. And there are emissions that happen. If you are someone that buys food outside, cooking it also generates some form of emission. So how much do you spend on food, whether you buy or you cook it yourself? Put it there. Then on clothes, to produce clothes and textiles also requires some form of emission, even your shoes that you wear. So these are ways you generate. That's why when you hear about what our facilitator mentioned the other time about recycling, I think, was that for the first session, or was it Dosia that mentioned it, that when you use your clothes, your clothing materials, when you use your shoes, there is emission that happened in the production of these materials. So because you buy them, you're also contributing to emission indirectly. So the way you're contributing to it indirectly is, for instance, you buy clothes that after 1 week, I'm not using it again. You decide to go and buy other ones. Meanwhile, the ones you have are not yet old. You decide to just accumulate different clothes. You are contributing to it. You are contributing to emission indirectly. So you're a secondary emission contributor. All right. So television, radio, and phone, it over time also contributes to it. So you can calculate how much do you spend in purchase, basically. Then your insurance, your education, all of that. So once you are done, estimate secondary footprint. You click on it, and then it will come out in metric tons. So once you click on that, that would come out. And then you click on results like so. So for me, because I have not put in any amount or any details so far, is why it's not showing me any results. So I want us to, okay, it's actually showing something. So this is what the result will look like. The attendance form will be shared after now. Yesterday, can you please drop the attendance form in the chat box? Thank you. So this is what your global, this is what your emission would look like. So this is the world average. This is the result I want to see in the WhatsApp group for everyone who is listening. This is the result I want to see in the WhatsApp group. So your house, because we didn't put any figure, is showing 0.00 metric tons, you understand, for flight and your secondary emission. So we want to see if your emission is more than the world's average. So this is Nigerian's average. So this footprint you are seeing, this is Nigeria's average. Nigeria's average is here. This is the world average. This is the world average. Somebody is asking a question. If you've been following me, you will understand what I've been sharing so far. So can you see the world average? This is the total emission that the whole world is contributing. See this fat leg that you can see. That's the total emission. So this is how much Nigeria is contributing. This is how much Nigeria is contributing to the global emission. This small leg that you can see in the country average. Then your own footprint will show on this third section. This is the result I want you to screenshot and share on the WhatsApp. In fact, I want it to be an engaging session, so you should start sharing on that WhatsApp group. So the average footprint, if I had put in the amount I am consuming every year, it will have shown here. So we want to see if, as an individual, what you are contributing to Nigeria's footprint is even more than the global average. We want to see. So do the calculation. If your calculation is correct, it should not be more than what Nigeria is contributing. If your calculation is correct, it should not be more than what Nigeria is contributing to the global emission. So the average for European Union is about 5.66 metric tons. The average footprint for people in Nigeria is 0.56 metric tons. And the worldwide target to combat climate change is 0 metric tons. So your own footprint and your contribution to the global footprint we want to see. Everybody, this is your take home for this week. And I want to see your responses on the WhatsApp group. Share with us what your footprint is following this link that I shared with you and how I had walked you through it. So put in your primary emission, that's your house, your flight, your car, your motorbike, your bus, your traveling. I mean, your vehicles, your cooking, and all of that. Then your secondary emission, the food you buy, and all of those things. Share with us. Would take it further by sharing key learnings from this session on your social media page. Share with us what you've learned from this session and let us see how fat is your leg. How much are you contributing to the world average and to Nigeria's country average? Thank you very much. Over from me. Back to yesterday. Please, if you have any questions, drop it in the chat. We might have to redirect it back to the WhatsApp group, but ensure that you take this assignment serious as you'll be graded and would also see how much you listened during this session. Thank you. Over from me.
All right. Thank you, Evangeline. If you can hear me, please let me to confirm. Because Evangeline, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right. I'm very sorry for the interruption. My laptop went down, so I have to switch to my phone. So thank you for this session. So do we have any question to guide this calculation of carbon footprint? Any question? So should I count as silence as none, as no
Hand
question?
is raised. Hand is raised.
So it's because I'm using my phone. So okay, you can. All right, Bernard, you can go on.
Okay. Thank you so much for that wonderful demonstrations about the calculations. Mine is more of kind of a comment or question, so to say. I feel maybe it would be appropriate if the organizations, because I believe as an organization, they should also they should also have their own carbon footprint. So I feel maybe it's more practical for the students or for the learners to see those figures if the presenters don't have their personal data, but we can get it from the organization as a whole and see those figures instead of just abstract showing. So I think maybe just kind of an areas of improvement, probably maybe next time. Thank you, Evangeline. That was a wonderful demonstration. I appreciate that. That's all.
All right. Thank you, Bernard. I'll answer, I'll provide a response to that. So the reason why I didn't put any figure is because I want you, it's supposed to be an individual calculation, not for your organization or not for NGU SDGs. It's supposed to be an individual calculation for you as a participant. You are a participant of this bootcamp. You're learning how to calculate, how to reduce your own contribution to climate change, to the adverse effects of climate change in Nigeria. And so, your carbon footprint, you need to know how to calculate it so that you know how much emission, because many people don't even know how much emission they are producing. Now, it can happen as an individual, it can happen for a household rather. Your organization as well can do the calculation, but the illustration is just to walk you through how to go about it so that as an individual can learn how to calculate it. So after this session now, even till the next 5 years, you can learn how to calculate how much emission you're emitting every month, every week, every year. Do you understand? But yes, thank you. Well done. Your observation has been taken note of. Thank you. Over.
All right, thank you, Evangeline. So we'll be moving now to the end of the session. So I would like to give a quick announcement. So today is the first week for this virtual 4 weeks virtual training on climate change. So we have 6 more sessions to go. So and I hope you are looking forward to that. So mind you, in addition, the slides and the tracker that Dosia made mention of will also be sent on the WhatsApp channel as well. And finally, I will want us to work on that a brief calculating on how to calculate our carbon footprint the way Evangeline taught us and share our results like what we get after the calculation and everything on the WhatsApp group. So if there is any other question, please you can forward that to the WhatsApp channel as well. So I thank you everyone for this wonderful session. Everyone who has contributed in one way or the other. I thank you all. So this brings us to the end of this session. All right.
Please fill the form that's been shared. That would serve as your attendance form for the 2 sessions. Please fill your name if you attended 2 sessions. If you attended one of the sessions, kindly put in your names. And I would like to say a big thank you once again to Mbah Dosia for taking out the time. Thank you so much. We really appreciate your efforts, and the presentation was interesting. I learned myself as well. So yeah, we look forward to the next sessions, and I'd like to implore every participant to please sit tight. The next sessions you would be learning on the NDC, the global and national policy frameworks for climate change, and the next one would also talk about tools, technology, and climate change, basically talking about climate finance, and also just like the question someone had the other time about technology. So I wish us the best of I wish us to enjoy the rest of the day, and as well have a beautiful week ahead. Please, we'll be looking forward to your assignments on the WhatsApp group, and keep it engaging. Engage, share on your social media platforms. What have you learned? What are your key takeaways from today's session? And also let's see if you have a fat leg, that's a fat feet rather, if you're contributing hugely to carbon emission in Nigeria. Thank you all so much. Do enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.
Sorry, just a quick one.
Okay, what's that? We haven't taken the group photograph as well, please.
It's regarding the attendance form. There's a session that I'm not clear. Sessions treated this week. What does that mean?
Yes, so it means what are the sessions that were treated this week? Today makes week 1 of your boot camp. So what sessions were treated this week? That's what it means.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so let's put on our camera while we take the group photograph before we all leave. Let's put on. Yesterday, can you please help take the picture? Everyone can please put on their camera. Let's see your faces, your lovely faces, as well as our facilitator as well. Would love to see your face and take a photograph of a picture rather of this session. Please let me know once you do that, Yetunde. Have you been able to? Please let me know once you're able to.